Top 10 famous people who were shot. Gun violence has shaped some of the most shocking moments in world history. From leaders who changed nations to artists who reshaped culture, these figures left an unforgettable mark. But their lives were cut short or changed forever by a single bullet. In this video, we'll explore 10 famous people who were shot, the circumstances that led to it, and how the world reacted. Some survived, others did not, but all became part of history. 10. Yitzhak Rabin. Yitzhak Rabin, Israel's prime minister, was a soldier turned statesman who later pushed for peace through the Oslo Accords. On November 4, 1995, after a massive peace rally in Tel Aviv, he was shot by an extremist opposing his vision. His assassination shocked the world, deepened political tensions, and highlighted the region's unresolved divisions. 9. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th U.S. president, led the nation through the Civil War and ended slavery with determination. On April 14, 1865, while attending a play at Ford's Theater, he was shot at close range by actor John Wilkes Booth. Lincoln died the next morning, leaving the nation grieving deeply for one of its greatest leaders in history. 8. The Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls, was one of the greatest rappers of all time. His music captured the struggles and ambitions of street life, and his storytelling elevated him to legend status in hip-hop. But his career was cut tragically short. On March 9, 1997, after leaving a music industry event in Los Angeles, Biggie was sitting in the passenger seat of an SUV. Another vehicle pulled up alongside him, and shots were fired. Biggie was hit multiple times and pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after. He was only 24 years old. His murder came just 6 months after the death of Tupac Shakur, and the two killings are often linked in discussions about the East Coast versus West Coast hip-hop rivalry. Despite decades of speculation, conspiracy theories, and investigations, Biggie's murder remains unsolved. His death left a lasting impact not just on music, but on American culture, showing how fame and violence tragically collided in the 1990s rap scene. 7. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur wasn't just a rapper. He was a poet, actor, activist, and one of the most influential voices of his generation. His lyrics often touched on poverty, racism, and social justice, making him more than just an entertainer. He was a cultural icon. On September 7, 1996, Tupac attended a boxing match in Las Vegas with friends and associates. Later that night, while riding in a car with record producer Suge Knight, another vehicle pulled up beside them. A gunman opened fire, hitting Tupac multiple times. He was rushed to the hospital, but after 6 days of fighting for his life, he died at just 25 years old. Tupac's death shocked fans worldwide. Like Biggie, his murder has never been fully solved, and theories about who was responsible still circulate. His untimely death turned him into a martyr for hip-hop, and his influence continues decades later. Proof that his voice was too powerful to be silenced. 6. Ronald Reagan. In March of 1981, just 69 days into his presidency, Ronald Reagan faced one of the greatest threats of his life. As he exited a hotel in Washington, D.C., John Hinckley Jr. pulled out a gun and fired 6 shots toward the president. One bullet ricocheted off the presidential limousine and struck Reagan in the chest just inches from his heart. Despite the injury, Reagan remained calm. As he was rushed into surgery, he famously joked to doctors, "I hope you're all Republicans." His humor and resilience became part of the story of his survival. Reagan's recovery was remarkable. He returned to the White House within weeks, and his near-death experience boosted his popularity. The shooting not only tested his strength, but also reshaped public perceptions of his leadership. Reagan's survival became symbolic of his political toughness. 5. John Lennon. John Lennon, co-founder of the Beatles, was one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. Beyond his music, he was also a vocal advocate for peace, especially during the Vietnam War era. On December 8, 1980, Lennon and his wife, Yoko Ono, returned to their apartment at the Dakota Building in New York City. Outside waiting for him was Mark David Chapman, a disturbed fan who had asked Lennon for an autograph earlier that day. As Lennon walked past, Chapman fired 5 shots, hitting him 4 times. Lennon collapsed and was rushed to the hospital, but doctors could not save him. His death sent shockwaves around the globe. Crowds gathered outside the Dakota and across major cities, mourning not just a musician, but a symbol of love and peace. Lennon's assassination remains one of the most tragic losses in music history. 4. Robert F. Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy, younger brother of President John F. Kennedy, was a senator and rising political star. His campaign for the presidency in 1968 was fueled by his message of hope, civil rights, and change during one of America's most turbulent decades. On June 5, 1968, after delivering a victory speech at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, Kennedy walked through the kitchen area with supporters and staff. Suddenly, Sirhan, a 24-year-old gunman, opened fire, striking Kennedy multiple times. He collapsed and was rushed to the hospital, but died the next day. Kennedy's assassination devastated the nation. Many believed he had the potential to unite America during a time of racial tension, war, and division. His death, coming just 5 years after his brother's, deepened the sense of loss and tragedy surrounding the Kennedy family. 3. Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a powerful and controversial voice in the struggle for civil rights. Known for his fiery speeches and unapologetic stance on black empowerment, he challenged the status quo in America during the 1960s. On February 21, 1965, Malcolm X was preparing to speak at a rally in New York City when gunmen stormed the stage and opened fire. He was hit multiple times in front of his family and supporters. His assassination shocked the civil rights movement and highlighted the risks faced by those who spoke out against racial injustice. Despite his death, Malcolm X's ideas continue to inspire future generations. He remains a symbol of strength, defiance, and the fight for equality, his voice echoing long after his assassination. 2. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is perhaps the most recognized leader of the civil rights movement. His philosophy of nonviolence, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi, became the driving force behind landmark changes in American society. On April 4, 1968, King was in Memphis, Tennessee, to support striking sanitation workers. As he stood on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel, he was shot by James Earl Ray from a nearby boarding house. The bullet struck King in the neck, and he was pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after. His assassination triggered nationwide riots and mourning, but his legacy endured. His speeches, including the iconic "I Have a Dream," continue to inspire people worldwide. King's death was a tragedy, but his message of equality and justice lives on. 1. John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was young, charismatic, and full of promise. His presidency symbolized a new era for America, one of progress, optimism, and hope. But on November 22, 1963, during a motorcade through Dallas, Texas, Kennedy was shot twice as he waved to crowds from an open-top limousine. The attack stunned the world. His wife, Jacqueline Kennedy, was sitting beside him as the chaos unfolded. Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested for the assassination, but many continue to believe there was more to the story. The Kennedy assassination remains one of the most investigated, debated, and controversial events in modern history. Kennedy's death not only changed America, but also left behind questions that have never been fully answered. These were 10 famous people who were tragically shot, moments that changed history, altered culture, and left lasting scars on society. Whether they were leaders, musicians, or activists, their stories remind us how fragile life can be and how quickly violence can alter the course of history. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories from history and culture. Share your thoughts below on which of these events impacted you the most.